wasn't the happiest of childhoods, I've got to say, because my parents divorced when I was about 5, and it was a pretty acrimonious breakup. So, like a lot of kids, you know.
I was 5 as well.
Were you?
Yeah. And at that age, it's so confusing.
It is a bit. Yeah. And I remember my year 1 teacher saying to me, Georgie Gardner, you walk around like you've got the world on your shoulders.
Oh, really?
And I remember thinking, if only you knew, that's exactly how I feel.
Yes. And you take on so much when you're younger too. Like I find now as a 32-year-old, I'm dealing with shit because of what happened when I was 5. Which is weird, don't you think? You make decisions when you're so young that then play out in your later years. When it's like, no, but I know that that's not the reality, but you make your mind up when you're 5, you know, that you know, something's not safe, and then it just plays out in your whole life.
Yeah, well it can, of course. It can be very destructive. But I've often thought it also gave me the tools to be very resilient and to be very compassionate and understanding of when people are perhaps a bit confused or lost in the world. So all these things happen for a reason, and no one's to blame. I mean, my parents obviously, back in those days, God, I think they were engaged within about 6 weeks or something ridiculous and barely knew each other, and you know, so young, and so these things happen. And thankfully I had an older sister and a younger brother, and we really teamed together, and we were quite a unit. But it was hard. I mean, my parents both went on and married again and had more children. So the three of us always felt a bit like, where do we fit in? Yeah. That happens.
And blended families can be really hard, because my mum's partner had 2 kids already, and they waited until we were older, because getting us all together, it was like, it's not going to happen. So I think because of us kids, they kind of would go their own ways, come back together and be like, nope, they're still not meshing, go their own ways. And now that we're adults, they finally got married. It was considerate, but I look back and go, it's hard at that age to go, this is what mum needs, and to make my mum happy. She really should have been with that man, but she didn't.
But she put her babies first.
Yeah, she did. Because my dad didn't, though. My dad was in all sorts of relationships with crazy stepmums.
It's funny how men can do that, isn't it?
I know, go from one crazy, and I'm like, get some balls. Don't let her do that. I had one stepmum that wouldn't even let me use her shampoo. Evil.
Mean.
I know.
Isn't that mean?
It's so mean. And now I have kids, I'm like, why wouldn't she let me use her shampoo?
Well, because I think, and this isn't casting aspersions on my stepmother at all, but I think the children interfere with their funk. You know, they're trying to have this relationship of getting to know each other, and then there are the kids, and it's kind of like, that's a bit awkward. And I don't know. I mean, with the benefit of hindsight, and now being older and being a mother myself, I'm a lot more forgiving of my stepmother.
Yeah.